Hey, how you guys doing? We're here with another Guild Wars 2 Let's Talk, and let's get right into it. We have Snebzor. Say
Say something.
Say something.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Brady, and on the internet, I go by Snebzor. There's my intro.
And we have BogOtter.
Howdy, folks.
Hey, how you going? And then I guess we can start by talking about endgame content. People are worried about it, and people don't see the real, I guess, grab of the game after they reach cap. What do you guys think?
Well, I guess as somebody who's played Guild Wars 1 for a long time, I'm glad that they're keeping that same kind of trend where it doesn't matter so much what level you are. You're going to be able to do a lot of the things right off the gate. I know that the dungeons, as soon as you hit a certain level, you can do a new dungeon. I think it's level 30 you get to do your first dungeon or something like that. But you have that whole side kicking system and the whole scaling system where, let's say you're level 50 and you go back down to go do that level 30 dungeon again, you are hindered a little bit so that you don't just overpower everything and you can't run people through it. So, and then on the other hand, to contrast that, you have the ability to sidekick with people so you can get leveled up to do a new dungeon or a new content, so you're able to go to the higher level areas. If a level 80 guy comes up to you and you're level 30 and you want to play with them, you're able to do things like that. So I guess as somebody, like I said before, who's played Guild Wars 1 for a long time, I'm glad that they're going to be make it so that the end game content is easily accessible.
Right.
You know that this kind of formula, works in other games. People see a shooter where you already have everything unlocked when you jump into these matches, and there's no new content, and there's no real progression in a lot of these games. You already have
that's a
everything.
great parallel.
But, and people don't expect there to be that, but they still continue to play for months and months and maybe even years and years, those games. The problem is we're kind of trained to think that we need that in MMOs these days. That's the formula that, everybody is used to. Games have brainwashed us to think, all right, unless they come out with raids and, I need to get the newest, shiniest loot that's more powerful than the next, then there's nothing to do. You almost need an incentive to actually play the game. And I think that people are going to react kind of strangely to this. I think it's going to take a period of adjustment. If someone is playing World of Warcraft right now religiously and has been for years and years like myself, and then suddenly they're jumping into this game, if let's say they don't even know what Guild Wars 2 is planning, I think they're going to get to a bit of a shock if they get to the end and they're going to be like, what do you mean? And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's definitely going to take an adjustment. Like, I've already been talking to my friends and my family who play World of Warcraft about Guild Wars 2 a lot, and trying to convince them to jump on the bandwagon. And some of them are kind of just stare at me like, "What do you mean? There's no raids?"
Right.
It's
that's people seem to feel like the whole horse and the carrot thing. It's like that carrot has been taken away and now the horse is just standing there. They feel like they have nothing to work for, and that's a very common theme, and especially in comments and stuff in my videos. People say, well, Guild Wars 2 isn't gonna have any endgame content, what do I do? I mean, there's probably gonna be tons of stuff to do, mini games and side quests. They have to think about the positive. Lots of people are just focusing on that negative aspect of it.
How much do we really like grinding for gear? How much, just doing the same raids over and over again? Do you like that? I mean, doing the same thing?
That's the reason I played Guild Wars 1, is because I don't have to grind for gear. So I'm glad Guild Wars 2, same theme, because I hate it. I mean, World of Warcraft, as much as I think it's a good game and I appreciate what it's done for MMOs in general and the whole organization, I think it was just, for some people, it was too hardcore. People that couldn't spend
hours,
like 3 hours and hours and hours of time doing raids and things, couldn't get that gratification that they want. And it's unfortunate because that actually pushed a lot of people away from the MMO genre.
Yeah, I mean, I still play WoW. In fact, I have a raid tonight. I'm a guild master and a raid leader, and I've been doing it for 6 years straight. Now, like,
Wow.
3 to 4 nights a week, my team and I get in there and do that. And it's hard. I don't like grinding the same dungeon for gear or the same raid for gear over and over and over for long periods of time. And of late, some of WoW's tiers have lasted, 7 months or more. So you're doing this basically the same dungeon, and there's like different modes to it, so you can put it on a heroic mode and it's even more challenging. And my group hasn't cleared everything on the heroic level, but still doing it the same thing for that long, it gets really tired.
Yeah, it's repetitive.
It's hard to keep your motivation up. But I will say that on the other side of things, I might miss in Guild Wars 2 the fact that I can get together with 10 or 25 people that I'm friends with in game and work towards a really difficult encounter that I don't know if they don't have an equivalent like that because there's a rush that you get for doing that I don't know if you're gonna have otherwise.
Right.
Well, I think that the world PvP is going to be that is for more PvP oriented people, but I think that could be one of those big things that lots of people can get together and do, like you mentioned.
I totally agree with that, but there are people that like that, and there's people that don't like that. Like I play with some people that just don't like to PvP because there's a stress there.
Yeah, it's competitive.
Yeah, it's hard. Some people don't like it, and my father still plays World of Warcraft with us, and he's 64 years old and he hangs with the best of us. But a PvP environment might stress him out a little too much.
Yeah.
So it's hard.
I mean, I guess there's pros and cons to every situation. Me personally, I like the fact that I don't have to be home all the time to do this. Like if I'm busy this week, if I'm like for my anniversary, I go out two weeks and I'm not there for those 2 weeks to play the game and gear up, I'm gonna be sad. I'm like, oh wow, I missed out on everything. I'm so behind right now. Now I have to go back and grind some more. But also it feels like I played games where when you spend a lot of time into it, you want to get rewarded for that. You want to be like, okay, you put all this time into it, you want to be the best, and you see all the other people who don't have
you want
anything.
Something to show for it. That's a big deal too.
Right. And I guess if Guild Wars 2 does this cosmetic thing better and all these titles, people can they look at that nice armor that you have that's glowing, or glowing fingers like how it is in Guild Wars 1. It's like, man, how did he get that, or how did he do that? Maybe that's a way to have that feeling, always have cool new gear that doesn't really does much to the stats, but it does a lot to your looks.
Yeah, I can see how the level scaling would be a little demoralizing for some people who, they get to that max level and they go back and they just want to stomp all over some really low level creatures, but oh wait, you just got hindered. You can't do the same damage that you could do versus the creatures that are the same level as you, or the same tier. So I do see those people's perspective, but at the same time, I think that equalizes things a little bit. It makes it so that the newer players don't feel as demoralized. So they're kind of switching. I don't know. They're trying to equalize everything, make everything in equilibrium.
Right. I think there's going to be a period of adjustment where, like I said, there's people that just don't know what to expect, and they're going to be a little bit surprised by it. And then it's really, I think even for all of us, we're huge Guild Wars 2 fans, and we know how it works in Guild Wars 1, and but we're going to have to see how it works out. I don't think anyone really has an idea of what the end game is going to be like until we start playing it.
Right.
We're going to just have to put our faith into ArenaNet until we actually play it.
I also think a big key is the amount of post-launch content that they have. How often are they going to be putting out stuff like new dungeons, new dynamic events that you haven't seen? Is it going to be, do you wait 6 months, or is it something like Rift where they're putting out smaller chunks of content every single month? If they do something like that and they just constantly pump out new content, then that might be able to, win some more folks over.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.